Hey, everybody. Welcome to Girl Chat Right. I am excited. It is a Friday night, and I get to chat with some people that are so dear to me, right? And I know y'all been seeing me advertise. I've been going up having a good time preparing for today. So I just want to welcome each and every one of you to the Girl Code Chat. I don't know if this will be your first time tuning in for those that will watch the playback, but Girl Code Chat is something that I came up with to further celebrate women. That I decided to celebrate on last year of September 2022. What I did was collectively get women from all over the world, and I want to be honest, it's women from almost every state in Girl Code. I wanted to represent women. I wanted to represent the women that have supported me behind the scenes and dare to show their face in public, right? I wanted to show support and show up for the women that undergirded me. I just wanted to show up for the women that showed up for me. And I felt what way could I do it? The way of celebrating them in Girl Code and allowing them to be a part of my very own first magazine. I'm gonna slide this in there, and I don't say this. I say this in the most humblest way. I sat back and I thought one day, like, everybody is in the magazine and not me. Like, why I ain't got to be featured in the magazine, which the Lord saw fit to allow it to be a thing. But before that even came into fruition, I made the decision that if nobody offered it to me, I was just going to create it for myself. And so creating Girl Code it was and is now a platform for women in business, women in ministry, and that is my way of celebrating women and empowering women, which everyone that knows me knows that's what I do. So tonight I'm going to have some ladies on that are featured in the Girl Code magazine. We're going to talk about their businesses. And they're going to share some amazing things about themselves and some things that they will be doing in 2023. So make sure you share, tell somebody, because sometimes, just to be honest, I don't know what direction things will go, because if you don't know me now, you know that God is the foundation of all things and God has his way of doing things. So I won't hold any longer. I'm going to bring on my dear friend. Like, this is my friend, you guys. And I love her so dearly. I'm going to bring on my friend, Krystyl Wright, and we're going to later. Possibly there's another friend that's going to check in with us. But for right now, I want to bring Krystyl on and we're going to chat tonight. So just stay tuned, share, get you some popcorn, get you some tea, get whatever is good for you. But just hang out with us here tonight as we chat and just love on one another. Krystyl.
Hi.
Krystyl, listen, I had to say the sweet stuff before I brought you in the room, right?
Oh,
Um, and you know that, I love you dearly. And I'm excited to have you here. So, what I want to start off with is you. I didn't say what I gotta say about you, but I want you to introduce yourself to people. And you know what? I don't think, and this just came to me, so don't get me. We never even we never even had the whole conversation of you even being a part of the magazine. It was just like you received the email from me, and it was and I was thinking in my mind, she like, what is Brownisha up to now? So we never even had that conversation. So that is something we can talk about tonight. But share with everyone about who you are, what you do, and all the amazing things you're getting ready to do.
yes. No, well, first and foremost, um, Branisha, you know how much when I say I love you, I think it's past endearing. I think the platform that you have given so many women, and not just women, just so many people, and the legacy that you will leave is just something that I'm honestly speechless, and it's a blessing to be your friend, to be a colleague, and to be partner with you, and anything that I can do, I'm game. So.
Like, right? And don't make me like I want my eyelashes down, so don't make me cry, okay?
Okay, I won't. So I'll gently move on. So yeah, so I'm Krystyl. I am a practicing clinical psychotherapist. I also am a co-founder of a wellness brand known as Lot 11 that is with Roman numerals. And we essentially, it's a wellness brand. So essentially it's a community conscious wellness brand. My mom is my business partner. And what we realized, well, I'll speak for myself. What I realized is being a therapist, I was often speaking to the illness of humanity. And not that I didn't find it helpful, it just that it does weigh on you. It weighs on you over time. And although everyone needs therapy, not everybody's going to go to therapy. I realized that. And I was like, well, I want to speak to the wellness of people. And I feel like Lot 11 has given me the opportunity to be in households and spaces and rooms that I wouldn't otherwise be able to do with just being a therapist. And people are much more open to having the conversation. It's not making therapy cool, but I think it's just making it accessible. You know, people think about like body butter. You know, they're like, oh yeah, this makes my skin feel good. It makes my skin soft. But it's really just a pause. It takes time to nurture your skin. You know, it takes time to think about like, okay, what type of products do I want to put on my body? And in the community that I grew up in, it just wasn't always, those things weren't always accessible. And that's really what Lot 11 is. And I think it's beyond a wellness brand. It's really about the impact, the social impact that we want to have in the world. And I'm just so grateful that I get to do that on purpose.
Right. It's so beautiful that I mean you talk about therapy and we've had like private conversations as it pertains to those type of things, right? So what I find it beautiful is um everybody is not going to go see a therapist. Like we are very clear on that. Everybody I'm going to start it in there. Everybody's not going to walk through a door of a church. So we have to, God has gifted us
Mm-hmm.
um, and gave us talents in a way that we can reach the people in ways
Mm-hmm.
where they don't even see that they're honestly getting what they need. Because it's like you talk about Lot 11, it's like you talk about the body butters and I really don't want to keep it because I'm finna like shift. I'm like, no, let me stay here because I kind of felt that it was gonna go that way. Before I'm like, no, let me stay here. But even thinking about the body butters and all those things that bring calming or relaxation, and those are things as a therapist you may talk to your client about. But I don't know what it is about people where it's like, I'll buy this candle or this feels good to me. But if you say therapy, baby, they gonna be like, and I do get it because there is a stigma for it. So I really say all this to say that I thank God how He has allowed you to present Him in a way and present Him in a way where though you are a therapist, you are helping people heal, whether they really know it or not, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, we like to shop and we it's a lot of things we like to do and we don't even really know sometimes we're buying into something that is deeper than we appear to see it as.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Absolutely.
I'm grateful that you took out the time to hear the assignment and even being a friend over a period of time, I have saw it grow so much so something recently just happened with your brand. Like what you should have knew I was gonna go there. But some recently just happened with your brand. Like what was that? Like what happened?
So what happened was I've been working with Mastercard for a couple years now, and they are amazing partners and amazing pillars in communities to uplift and support um, Black women entrepreneurs. And what Mastercard has, obviously, their reach and their connections are global, and essentially. Our brand was invited to have a lunch. I believe that's what you're speaking of. I feel like I've done so many things in these last
We'll
six
talk about them all.
in these last 60 days. So more recently, we were invited to have a luncheon that was put on by in collaboration with Jennifer Hudson and her amazing team over at the Jennifer Hudson Show and partner with MasterCard. And what really that moment I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. But in the moment, I had to really take a step back And one of my favorite Bible scriptures is Psalms 23. And in these last 60 days, I've been dealing with so much
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't even know whether or not the business was going to be in 2023 or not. And so to have a table literally created for not just myself but other Black women, and to be seated literally right next to Karen Bass, and who is the mayor of LA, and Jennifer Hudson is like right there, and she walks in, like, "Hey, Krystyl," and we've had calls before, um, but to be seen, I think, is the most powerful tool that any human being can give someone else, is to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And I've been telling myself for many years that I'm an introvert, and I believe that is more so my adaptation versus who I am. And so I'm kind of like learning and unlearning who I am, and I'm still honestly getting to know that. And so we had the pleasure of having a luncheon and really share space with other Black entrepreneur women. Many of the women at the table I've worked with in other aspects, in other areas, so it wasn't a table full of strangers. It
Yeah.
was just almost like a reinforcer, like an acknowledgement, like a praise, like a celebration, like God has you exactly where you need to be. And sometimes we do need those reminders.
Listen, listen. I mean, and here's the thing, and Miss Ebony is in the building, so we're going to bring her.
Okay.
But here's the thing. But before I bring her up, um, as you were talking, it's like I'm just grateful to God that I'm grateful to God that I listened to His voice, and what I mean was even when it was time to prepare, um the magazine. It was like everybody that came to my mind, literally, it was so funny. It's like I had a list and they was just popping up. And again, as I had already announced, you know, most, if not all, were women that I wanted to support and love on and patronize their business in my own way by then collectively putting us all in this magazine. And what I seen was us reaching places, that beyond our expectation, beyond what we thought. Because if I just, I'm gonna bring Ebony on, and then I'll say, what I need to say. So we're gonna bring Miss Ebony in here, and this whole little lineup is funny. You talking about the lineup that you just recently seen you were part of, but I'm like, even us, how we were connected and how we met, right? Like it was definitely she played too much. It was definitely divine, y'all. Look, let me kind of rearrange some stuff. Yeah, it was definitely divine. So, hey, Miss Ebony, you can come off mute. What you over there hiding?
Oh, I thought I was. Look, I made it. I made it.
Why you look like Cameron though?
What's
Or
going
Cameron
on
look like you? We
with
gonna let
me?
Cameron.
It's
Okay, Cameron.
all mines. All mines.
Okay. So we are so glad to have you make it in the room. I told Crystal, I said she might not make it, and I'm okay with that too. Because I already told my story. We not gonna go there, but I'm taking long vacation, so people, you gonna miss me. So, but I told her that you possibly wouldn't go make it, but I'm glad that you made it into the room. And as you were coming in, I was saying about the whole lineup. Um, about even how we all were connected. Even
Right.
you met Crystal first, and I met Crystal in a totally different location, and come to find out, you was talking to me about Crystal for the whole time, and I just didn't know Crystal was that Crystal. And so I
Mhm.
was like, look how it's full circle. So I was definitely excited about getting on here with y'all tonight. Now, I did tell God to have me hold my mule. I did. I was like, Lord, I don't want to get on here and I don't want to take off because this is Girl Code. We're talking about the Girl Code magazine. But y'all know me, I will go. If
Hey, that's
I will go
fine.
in, I have not a
Go.
problem with
Right.
going in. But I am excited to have both. I mean, again, I know y'all know I'm comical. But I really appreciate the fact that I can share this space with you. I do not take it
Right.
lightly. And as I was going to say earlier, and then Ebony, we're going to get you in the room so you can share with the people about what you're doing. Um, Sometimes, we have people that are in spotlights. We have celebrities. We have whoever. You got the Oprahs and whoever else. Oprah was the first person that came to mind, but you got the Tabithas. You got those people that are in
Right.
spotlights and they have their own right. But who we are as women in the businesses that we have, we walk in our own right. Like we're somebody in our community, we're somebody in our family. We
Right.
might not have reached those places yet, but not to say that we won't. And if we don't, we're still right where God wants us to be. So that's what I was saying, even when Krystyl was talking about her being in the room with Jennifer Hudson and like,
What?
yeah, right? Like she couldn't phone a friend, like, hey friend,
I know her. I know her.
she couldn't phone a friend like, hey, guess where I'm at? But no, but just definitely being able us, and if I personally speak for myself, of the community that I grew up in the life and life experiences that I had, I did not imagine that I would have arrived to where I am today. So I'm trying to really be calm. I don't know if y'all can tell. I bless God because God is so faithful that he's taken us beyond where we could imagine.
Oh
And
yeah.
Crystal, I'm still talking about you entering into rooms and doing all this stuff, and I was talking about one thing you like in the last 60 days. I'm like, oh well, fill me
Right.
in. She's doing big things. But Ebony, I want you to come in and to share with the women about what you are doing. Tell them about your brand, and what you're getting ready to do.
Okay, well, I am infatuated body sculpting. Originally, I used to how things be planning out. Originally, so it's a course that is geared towards, your body. Women want to change. A lot of women is getting all these the surgeries and the things like that. You do unto what you feel is best for you. So I was like, okay, well, first it was just me trying to just jump in the field because I'm like, I come from nursing. So I'm like, I don't want to be still doing all of the other stuff. So let me try to jump into something different, but still kind of slightly in the same lane. Uh, and crazy thing about that we were talking about lately is that there's been a slight changing that I'm doing. So I went on a hiatus for my mental health because I was like, it was just too much going on for me. I was like, I had to take a break, although I was just starting. And I did beat myself up, but I'm like, you know what? It happens. This is life. Things change and things like that. So went on my hiatus for my mental health and the things that he's been downloading to me, and I'm like, I didn't even know I was able to get stuff downloaded. Like, what is this? Some stuff that I even going back to meeting Krystyl. Like, we used to have talks on how we met. In the times that was going on. So me talking to her, and I'd be bringing up some stuff to her, and she was like, this is something you should be doing. Like, this is your feel like I think you got it because we'll be talking after the session, and I'm like, girl, like da da da, and she's like, yeah, you know what, da, da, da. Like you're like you got it, you should do it. And I'm like, back of my head, I'm like, school for all this again, like I don't know. So I tried to steer away from that. And here I am trying to do the body sculpting and all that. So now I just had this light bulb, like, okay, well, let's switch this because for me, again, this is like the mental health is more so important than anything, especially nowadays. So I want to where I'm going to be changing is I don't want women to think like, oh, this is necessary just for body sculpting, just because, oh, I need to look this way, I need to feel like this way. And it's like, no, my thing is including like mind, body, and soul, because when you're laying on my spot bed, when you're here for appointment, I gear towards you being able to be relaxed, being able you to de-stress or vent or whatever that is, because again, that's like going to get your hair done. You get your hair done, you're in the shop, you get the chit chat and you get to releasing things, and sometimes you might prophesy to somebody you don't even know you prophesying, you know what I'm saying? So switching things up, like this is whole mind, body, and soul thing over here. I don't want people to think like, oh, this is I need to go pay this for that. Like I'm gearing towards mental health, whether it's me lighting an incense for you, a certain smell, a certain type of meditation music, or if you want the crunk music or whatever it is you need that for your soul in order for you to be when you leave here for me, like there's a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I am. I'm sorry, God. I am. It is your endorsement because He's like, nope, nope. Stay on the course, stay on the course. So, and the crazy thing about that, also, what I'm trying to do is, and this is going back with Krystyl, in a sense, the way that I spoke with you about too, Bernicia, was about creating, how do you say, something for children. And not necessarily body sculpting, no, but I'm saying like this is a whole nother direction. And it was like, yeah, you can do that, but I need you to do this. Like I've been telling you this so many long, you're like, and it's like, you know how you be like, well, how do I feel like I got all these kids? It's like I'm like a magnet. I'm like a magnet, and I just can't get rid of them. So I'm like, okay, God, okay, I see you, I hear you. Let me stop being hard headed because I keep getting popped. I keep getting popped. Like you keep going left, and I'm telling you go right. So there is a lot. I have a lot of things like I've been writing down, like things that I'm just like it's so much. It's so much, but literally again back to the body sculpting is really geared towards mind, body, and soul for you to be able to relax, for you to just to de-stress, because we all go through things, we're all going through things are going to constantly happen, things are going to constantly show up regardless whether we want them here or not. Like I tell adults, even children, like, no, life is not fair. We're born in a world where we're dealt with cards where we don't even want the cards, we didn't even ask to be here. But let's find these ways of learning, not necessarily I'm gonna say learning, but find ways to help each other cope with things that we're dealing with, to get past these things. Because it's like me, I get up here and I play some music for myself, and be in here and just, whether I'm just massaging my body or whatever the case is, and that alone for me to have my time, like that's a lot. That's a lot for me because I rarely have that. So I know for the next woman and man, that's a significant thing with having your time for yourself, taking that time out for yourself, because if not, you run into all kind of walls and you don't even know which way to go. So having someone there, whether I'm saying, whether it's a counselor, a therapist, going to get massages, or whatever it is that you feel like is for you, do that. I'm saying, there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way about creating a healthier you. So that's why I'm geared to the healthier me, the healthier you. Because if I can be me and my good self, I can give you. I'm saying, I can be more open and catering to you. But I have a lot of things. I had some promos coming up because I know summer is coming, and everybody want to get their body ready and things like that. Or if you feel like you got some stuff you trying to take off or whatever it is, I just don't want it to be like geared towards like, oh, because the stigma is like everybody having these perfect bodies, and there's nobody the same. Nobody is the same. So it's like, just work on what makes you happy. And again, if you just come laying on the table and just be like, okay, just rub my back, I'm willing to do that. Whatever it is to cater to mental health, I'm down for it. If answer buts. But I do have a lot of promos coming up for summer. What else? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, you make sure that once you do get all your promos and stuff together, that you begin. I mean, you share it with us. Begin to tag. It's not funny that you would come in here and you would share at the level that you're sharing about healing or dealing or helping people mentally, because prior to you coming in, Krystyl was sharing how with her candles and her body butters, like, so you're represented in a form of body sculpting, and she's saying through different scents and the creams and the stimulation, how yet it's all tied to advocating and promoting healing.
Right,
So
right.
it would not be this conversation or all of us being in this room uh, tonight, it would be so befitting, because I know my heart more than anything has been drawn. I've always wanted to see people healed, but it's just like on a totally different other way, to the point where mental health is like, that's my passion, to help people in those areas, because I've had my own journey of my own mental health that I had to get through, and me just want to be there for other people, but being mindful that I first, more than anything, I first got to take care of myself. So, and that alone is a lesson. Um, and so you coming in here, you saying what you're doing about helping people and how you strategize certain things. And I even told Krystyl that people, they buying the candles, and they buying her body butters and all the other things that she have to offer. And she was talking about, how some people will never go to a therapist, but even yet still promoting healing and offering it, and people don't even really know what they're doing. They just like, oh, this candle smell good, or oh, I like how this scent smell, or how I feel to my body. But it's actually promoting something to help them heal and relax. And because there's certain things we don't know, because we haven't went to therapy. There are certain techniques we don't understand that it actually helps promote healing, even if it's the mindful. I think Krystyl offered like the mindfulness app. You wouldn't, it's just, oh, that's a mindfulness app. Like, you wouldn't think that it actually would do for you what it actually does, is what I'm trying to say. It's like people don't really know what they be buying into. So you say body sculpting. Somebody can really go and be like, oh girl, I'm trying to get my booty plumped, or I'm trying to get these. I mean, hey, they come to get their booty plumped. They do. Or I'm coming to get this, get my fat together, and all those things. In a sense, if you talk about being fat, or if you're talking about, you got a flat tail, so you need to get it pumped. All of those can come from a point. Y'all know, I'm be real. All of those can come from a point of being negative.
Right.
But you're saying, once you get in my space, that I'm promoting healing, I'm promoting a place of mindfulness. I'm going to deal with your mind, body, and spirit. So that's what I'm saying. We go in with a negative mindset, so to say, or we're thinking about it carnally, about it possessing something, when really it's something deeper in it that we will receive. And so I just thank God that He decided to set this up the way that He did, because both of y'all, when it came time to talk about Girl Code, both of y'all ended up on the same, like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, oh, okay, look at the two people that will be in the room. And so I thank God. And I can't stress enough that I appreciate you guys, and I'm excited about all that you are getting ready to do. Krystyl, one of the things, as I was sitting here, I wanted to ask for you to share was being where you at now. Like, don't get nervous. Being where you at now. I mean, you shared about being in the room with those people, um, and all of this that has happened for you over the last 60 days. Is that something you ever even imagined for yourself?
No, no, not at all. And honestly, it's like, I mean, being in the room with those people and being in the rooms of communities that I've served, I still have the same level of angst, of fear, of um perfectionism. It's the same. So it doesn't it so for me, it's never like, oh my God, it's those. Okay, I'm scared here. It don't matter where I am. So for me, what I have found is that all of the opportunities that I have gone along the way, even the job that I ended up at after grad school, I did not want to be a therapist. Absolutely not. I went to college to be a marine biologist. I wanted to save the animals. And God flipped that on his head, and I started to be worried about people. I saw things that I didn't think that I would ever see. So I began to be more curious. So now being in all of these rooms, it just feels so purposeful. It feels so divine. It feels kismet. It feels like I get to transition from this life and doing exactly what I wanted to do. And I'm just speechless, honestly.
Yes. I mean, oh, well, I always say that where we start it does not determine where we're in. And so,
Mhm.
seeing you even grow over a period of time, and even just the opportunities, again, we've talked about in private, um, and as they are coming, as they're coming into full manifestation in reality, it's
Mhm.
just like, God will blow our mind. And sometimes, I don't know if y'all like me, I'm pretty sure y'all, as you'll be scratching your head like, did he just do that? Like, did
Yeah.
he really just
Mhm.
do that? So when I ask the question of, it's like seeing yourself, not necessarily because those people are big name people, but it's just the overall giving you something and allowing it to grow bigger and bigger
I'm
and bigger.
I'm I mean, to say I'm speechless, I think it's just kind of okay, this is what I will say. It feels like so that I'm doing all the things that I've been doing in these last 60 days, all the things that I've been doing these last 7 years are my fears manifested into reality. All right. I told you I've been telling myself I'm an introvert. Again, that's an adaptation. I don't think I'm really actually an introvert because when I talk to people, they're like, oh my God, you're so social, you're so lovable. And I'm just like, I'm scared in my whole body and I just want to shrink and I want to run and leave. And the more and more I have to come outside, the more and more people invite me to things that I can't turn down because of my relationships with them or because I care about what they're doing, the more and more God just continues to like roll back the red carpet every moment. And it's like I get my fears right in front of me. And I think Ebony kind of said it a little bit like, you really like healing comes with the practice, right? So the thing that I'm very much afraid of is the things that I get to do every day. And I'm still scared of it, but I'm not as scared as I was to where like I have to hide and shrink myself in a world that I really love and care about.
Right.
So.
Listen, I'm trying. Like I'm like
Over
okay.
there struggling, she trying.
I'm like because I'm like it is so powerful. I mean, I knew it because when I was in that mirror earlier, and I was like, Lord, I was like, I don't want to get on here and I don't want to cut up. Like, talking about this magazine and what we doing in business. I'm so serious. I had the conversation with him because I turn any. We have a whole church service. I don't care what we at. I don't care what we could have left the club. I'm gonna turn it into Jesus. Okay. So and I'm just a lover of God, and I'm just saying that this conversation of even you talking about your fears and how they're before you, and you're yet still moving. You're moving through them, like, and he is just so amazing because our
Mhm.
fears can potentially paralyze us. They
Mm-hmm.
can paralyze us. They can keep us from getting where we're trying to go. And on this past last Saturday, I had the opportunity of being in the room at this event. It was called She Stories, and so we were in the room too, and you was to share. We were sharing our stories, and I used the example. I said, it was a lot that people said to me to make me feel that I wasn't going to accomplish things in life. I said, but I always saw this view. It was always a view, and I was so confused because I was like, they say I'm not nothing and I'm never going to be nothing. I was like, but I keep seeing me in this light. And I was like, so somebody lying. So it was the view of where I saw myself is what actually made me hold on. Cause I was like curious, like I got to get to this thing that I see. And so that's why I am so big on, about the saying that your beginning does not determine your
Mhm.
end, because something has transpired in our lives to cause us to be fearful in a way, cause us to delay in a way. Like these things have happened, but as we're here having these conversations, it's like we have the victory over those things. Like
Yeah.
we're actually accomplishing things in life. Like I'm finna give y'all the opportunity to talk, but I'm even thinking about me and Ebony as friends. It was like we ain't we ain't never thought about doing this. What we do, like this was not on the to do list.
No.
This
Ooh,
is far.
no.
This is far, far, far from the to do list. And so yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to hold myself together, y'all. I'm just, I'm just trying to hold myself together because I knew he was gonna do me like that. I knew it. I just about knew it. But yeah, I am. I'm excited uh to get you to have you guys here. And even as we prepare for the rest of the year, there will be other featured um, business owners and entrepreneurs coming on, and we're chatting about what they're doing. And I take it as an honor that God has me in this space to bring women and bring men, just everything that God has me doing to
Right.
collectively bring people together. But I'm definitely excited, to have been the creator of Girl Code,
Absolutely.
because man, I ain't. And it was never in a million years my name was gonna be on nothing. I don't know, probably a arrest form or something. You know,
That may not have been right behind you. Straight
couple,
accomplice.
what'd you say, Ebony?
I said, I mean, that may not have been right behind you, an accomplice. I'd have been an accomplice.
Hey, she would have definitely been accomplice. But and I'm being very serious. You know, I tend to be comical, but just seeing what God is doing through us and how He's using us, it's a wonderful thing. And even how He set it up. And Krystyl, I know you. I be trying to be careful because I don't be wanting you to get me, but just literally even how He has used you as definitely a jewel. And I probably said it in public before and probably would say it a million more times. I remember God telling me, He was like, I'm going to send somebody named Krystyl and she's going to save your life. Now, I was trying to give my whole what the Lord said to somebody else. I was like, well, the Lord going to send somebody named Krystyl and they going to save your life. And so I told it to a friend named Krystyl. And it didn't register to me until I think of probably about 6 months after I'd known you and having conversations with you and my life started to change. The Lord brought it back to me. And I don't know if you remember, I sent you the text and I was like,
Mhm.
hey, He told me He was going to send somebody named Krystyl to change my life. And I know Krystyl always say, like, oh, you've grown up. Like, you know how, like, I was a little child, like, you've grown so much this year. And I don't take it that way, but I'm just being serious.
Right.
I have grown, but it's the witnessing. God allowed you to be a witness to
Mhm.
the then and the now, and there will be a witness to what God is doing in our life. And then I truly believe you got a witness to Ebony, and we have a witness to see what is happening in your life. So I'm just saying, I'm really blessed because when we talk about women, and you'll hear this over and over again, and I'm gonna give you guys to say time to say something, but you don't find women in the same room empowering one another. It's like the tearing down or the competition. And I can genuinely say, like from the bottom of my heart, that what we have here is so pure and it
Mhm.
is so honest,
Absolutely.
and we are always encouraging one another to grow, like to be bosses. Um, in our own business, and I'm
Mhm.
grateful. Like I'm grateful. I don't know. Like I don't know. I should have. Oh, that man, he got me.
Mhm.
But Ebony, um, I think it was something that you were talking about as well too, with the kids. I want you to kind of dig a little deeper in that because you and Krystyl connected as far as kids. With
Right.
yeah, you was she was doing her early on ministry, Krystyl. She was doing hi, Lonnie. She was doing her early on. It's the truth. I said it in a joking way, but I'm serious.
Right. Well, I used to take it lightly. I used to hear people like, oh, you don't cross paths with people for no reason. Da, da, da. And I didn't understand that. So I was like, oh, yeah, right. Ain't no way he gonna put me with these people. Like these people, how can I connect with them? But more so what I'm trying to say is me the gravitation to children. So I end up where I am working. So crazy thing is he put me at a school. I'm at a school. So I'm at a school where there's um, elementary, middle school, and high schoolers. So when I
Mhm.
first got there, and I'm like, ain't no way you put me up here with these kids. Ain't, my kids don't do this. But how can I say? Oh Lord. Um, so coming to understanding myself, right? Him put me with the children. So I will see some of the certain kids, you see kids and you see certain things in people that they don't see in themselves. And for me, it was like, I'll see kids, you call kids like, oh, hey, little, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so. But there's certain children that I'll be like, I have this one student where I didn't know him from a can of nothing and started, and I'll see him, I'll be like, hey, oh, man of God, look at you, man of God. It was just something about him that would make me call him man of God. And little hope below, down the line, come to find out that he is actually into ministry. He's actually into ministry. He is He could prophesy. He'd be up in the pulpit. He'd be tearing the floor up. When I say he'd be tearing the floor up, and I didn't know this till he came to me one day because I started talking to the children, like, telling them what I see in them. And they like, "Oh, Miss Smith, please, you too spiritual. You talk too much, Miss Smith. You too spiritual." And I'm like, "No, but I'm for real. I'm for real." But the connection with me and the children is like, it's so heartwarming to know that they are able to sit down and listen to someone who can really actually connect with them. So me telling him he was a man of God, and I didn't know this. So me I started talking about my book. I even gave my book out to some of the kids because I'm like, okay, here, you're not gonna do this work. Read this book. So they started reading, like, wait a minute, who book is? I'm like, that's my book. They was like, wait, you got a book, Miss Smith? Why are you up here working with us? Why are you up here? And I'm like, because this is where I want to be. This is where God wants me to be, and I'm here. So y'all stuck with me for the rest of y'all lives, right? As I wish they would do their work, but they literally went home and read the book and would come back and give me feedback like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to write. So you mean tell me I can write a book too? And I'm like, yeah, you can do anything that's in your path, anything that's in your, like, it's not you against the world, it's you against you. You get out of your own way, we can get there. And I'm like, I'm holding your hand the whole way, but not even realizing when I was doing why I'm doing all this up until recently, there was like, so do you see why I keep saying to go to the right and not to the left? This is where I need you to be. This is where they need the people that's going to connect with them. Not saying like I'm a whole army, but just me, myself, being able to connect with them. Like, it is so awesome to push them to their greatness, because prior to me, I'm not saying nobody else did it, but me being there, like, there's a big difference. The navigation of the children is like, I'm like, okay, God, now I see. So it's like, yeah, do what you're gonna do with your business and all that, but do know I do have an assignment for you when it pertains to these kids and getting back to them. He was like, you pour into your children at home, but you pour into these kids just like they're yours as well. And little hope, little just it. Oh my Jesus. Okay, but yeah. So I know I'm where I'm supposed to. I'm not saying I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right path when it comes to the children. So my thing with that is bringing me back to, again, me pouring into children. So me coming up with a center where they can come and be able to connect, not necessarily me, but me eventually building a whole team where we're going to, connect with these kids in certain ways that nobody does, or they don't get it at home, because there's a lot of lost children who are looking for someone to hold their hand or even just give them a hug. Like, I got one student who is off the chain. When I say off the chain, she is off the chain. Like, this one, I was like, well, I don't want her today. When I first started, I want her today. But you walk past and you see, and I'm like, it's something about them. I'm gonna wait till you navigate towards me. Or I'm gonna find a way to navigate towards you. And I found that way. And just to see her break down from this hard exterior shell that she walks around with was like, we were sitting there talking. We started crying. And I'm like, girl, you got me over here crying with you in the corner back of this bungalow, trying to give you this pep talk, like. And I was like, he was like, this is where, like, it is a dire need for the children, because I'm like, if we can get to the children, we can hopefully stop the madness that goes on with us as we're adults, because it's like, and it's so, I'm looking for, it's so, and I don't want to say over, but it's so overwhelming to know that it's so many children that don't get a hug, or don't get somebody telling them, oh, you look cute today, or what's going on with you today? Like, you know what? I was thinking about you. Let's have a meal. Let me order you a meal. Let me something. Let's go draw. Let's go. What do you like to do? Like, what do you want to talk about? Or, let's just chit chat. They need that. So being able to come up with a plan and a way to being able to have a center for children to come, whether all the way up to 18, or even if you pass that, you might be able to go past, you join the center, or however, what I'm trying to do, you join the center. And even if some people, in the system, they say you max out. There's no way that you can max out, because eventually I want to be able to where, okay, yeah, you're 18, you feel like this is like a center for children, but then I want to be able to have a resource for you that's someone that's not me, but someone that's like me, that's going to make sure that you're taken care of as well. If you feel like, you're over 18 and you want to be with someone that's, because you're an adult. So listen, when I say that my mind does not stop, like recently, there's just something just happened recently. I'm just like, whoa, okay, I hear you. I'm like, I'm hearing a little bit too much now. Like, okay, can you like turn the volume down just a little bit? Let me work on something first. Let me sorry. He's like, no, because it's like I said, it's a dire need. So he's like, boom, 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 boom. write that down, write this down, write that down, because eventually, like little, this is where you're about to be. It's like that, the children. So I have to putting my kids in mind, because of, when you losing people, you losing family members, they're getting sick, and then nobody's really sitting there consoling you and explaining to you these things, because they're small children where I've had to break down on them losing their parent and helping them understand of the parent not being here, or them being in a system. All of that, whether what's going on in the home, there's a lot of things that, as we know, that goes on in homes and things like that, that they come to school, and then I'm like, now we see why we get these behaviors, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, don't just sit them somewhere, okay, well, you go sit up in here in the office until you cool down. No, sit and talk to this child, figure out what's going on, build a relationship, build a rapport with them, where they're able to actually talk about it versus holding this in. And then we wonder why things is going on in the world that's going on, because they don't have nobody to sit there and actually help them de-stress and understand where they play their part at, when it helps them being accountable, and and other things that's so unfair that we can't really change too much about, but just giving them that outlet, because a lot of kids don't have that outlet. And me started working at the school, I realized that a lot of these kids do not have outlets whatsoever. So their outlet is to come and as we know, tear ish up. I'm gonna come to school and I'm gonna tear it up. I'm gonna tear it up. I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna do all that, because who are you? You just like the so. I'm putting the face on you that I'm mad at this whole other person that's back at home. But since I'm at school and I gotta be here at school, I'm gonna put that face on you. So just being able to help the kids so that way in the near future, that we are not so discombobulated as adults.
You, I mean, you said a lot, and it's what I believe we now see is what we see in the kids today is honestly been going on for years, but now
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of put a name to it. Now we have an understanding of it. Now there's more of a dialogue around it,
Right.
compared to what it used to be. Now I see, mental health has become more of a common conversation. Behavior issues is more of a common conversation now, and being able to look at it, and even how certain things are due to trauma. Our
Mm-hmm.
responses and triggers and stuff due to trauma. So now it's more. Uh, the conversation is more prevalent now than when we were growing up and we was cutting up. We were just considered as bad kids, and people may still say it now today, but now it's a different language because you're looking like, nah, that's
Mm-hmm.
something or whatever. So I'm just glad that those things are happening, and how we all are playing a piece and a part of doing our part to help the people. I mean, in which God has assigned us to. So, what we gonna go into Krystyl. If you do, you have anything else you wanted to share? Anything that you have planned for the rest of the year, ma'am? Any new products coming out? Any of that? I'm talking to you, Krystyl.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, me?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be so I more recently did a candle collaboration with the artist. Her name is Shannon Skates. And I've always been a fan of hers over the years. And I thought it was just so fitting to do a candle collaboration. And so, what I've realized is like, well, I've been trying over the years, trying to figure out how to blend therapy and the business together in one. And so, I'm working on a series called Behind the Flame, and essentially it will be my way of highlighting artists that I have that I've enjoyed over the years, and really kind of talk to them about like what's behind their flame that keeps it going. Many entrepreneurs are often forced to make a choice between entrepreneurship or working a full-time job. Some people feel like, well, you're only an entrepreneur if you're all in, and we all know that you got to bring home the money, and sometimes there's an ebb and flow in business, and so some entrepreneurs are forced to choose, some are forced to still live in a duality. And so, but there is this flame, your passion, your gift. And so I want to be able to highlight that, and also kind of just show like how you can live in whatever duality you want to. but it's just making sure that it's like whatever you want, and it's that it's you're doing it purposefully, not like making a sacrifice. So the Behind the Flame series probably will start, I will say maybe in the summer, so June, and it'll be a legacy project of ours. So it's not going to be a stop, and it's just going to be different artists that I have enjoyed along the way, and giving them a platform, and also just kind of really blend in therapy with that as well. When you think about like not just wellness but well-being, practicing forgiveness, having boundaries. Um, um, Sometimes you got to cut people off. Sometimes you have to, you can gracefully exit conversations without blocking people. And I know many artists kind of go through that journey. And so that's something that will be coming out shortly. And lastly, my last line will not last line, but a line that I'll be coming out with is called Kismet. And so it's a blend of some amazing essential oils, kumquat, some citrus, some sultry jasmine. So I'm really excited to introduce the world to that line.
Just she just so I just love her. Like the things that you're doing is pretty dope. It was something that you said that stood out about the forgiveness and setting boundaries, and letting people go. One of the things that I've learned on this journey of healing in a more recent time was I use it in the language of saying is speaking up for myself, because many years I had no boundaries. I let people do whatever they want to do, and I felt like I was obligated to do
Mhm.
a thing for people. It was like self-sacrificing, and baby, now I'm not self-sacrificing anything, and I definitely anything that I don't like or doesn't feel comfortable for me, or if it crosses a boundary, I now speak up. I had to celebrate myself with my therapist the other day because I told her a person told me that they kept calling my phone now. I didn't I wasn't ignoring them, but I'm a busy person. So when I looked up and I realized that they was calling, I had missed a call, but they was like, "Oh, you ghost me and you this, you that," and it was a guy. So I told him in the most common voice, I was like, "I'm not obligated to answer your phone call. Like I don't have to do it."
Right.
And me in the past, if I had, I wouldn't have done nothing like that because it was like, oh well, what if? But no, it's the truth. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, or if it's not comfortable, or if it's not befitting, or if it just doesn't work with Brownisha, it is okay. And I am saying this to say that we need to have these conversations because so many of us are self sacrificing. We don't have boundaries. We let people have their way with us. And then at the end of the day, we're depleted and they didn't win off and they doing something else. So these conversations are needed and necessary. And I say this to you as I know that, God is doing some things um, behind the scenes that I have not yet announced, but within the next 30 to 60 days, I really want to fully transition and find myself in spaces where it is like focusing on assisting and with mental health. Like I want to collaborate with those that are helping individuals that are struggling, and just advocating for them and sending them in the right way, in the right direction. So you saying that when you brought that part up, I'm like, this is everything that I want to do right now, of helping people get out of that rut. Like it is it's a time.
Mhm.
So many people are suffering in silence, and they would dare to tell you that they're going through. And I think it's the time for me because I was at the tax place, and the guy, I was like, "Oh, you work here?" I knew he worked there, but he was like, "Well, yeah, I'm about to quit." And I was like, "Well, why are you about to quit? Because it's tax season." He was like, "No, he have an organization for mental health." And I was like, "Wait, pause." And so me and him started talking, and I started sharing, and I was just telling him about what I was doing, and he was like that it was, he was like it was timely. So just you saying that, I really want to get in those spaces, to have those conversations, because that's where I just feel like I should be, being there and walking alongside of someone else and helping them as you have helped me. Miss Crystal and Ebony too. Look, I mean, we've all been to help to one to
Right.
another. So, I Ebony, now you. because we go get on up out of here. I'm glad you guys came in. Make sure you put your in any information, your Instagram websites where they can purchase stuff. Ebony, for the book, like make sure you put all that information in the comments so the people can follow and share and purchase and all that good stuff. But yeah, what are you currently doing something? And do you have something planned in the future? I know you do, but I just want to make sure you tell it yourself.
Okay, who are you talking to now?
You.
Oh, okay. Oh well. Oh yeah. So I did. Well, I'm going to be adding on a service that I didn't have at first, which is Yanni, or as people call vaginal steams. Which I've been doing a whole lot of research on when it comes to the herbal blends for the right person, depending on what they're dealing with, whether it's fibroids, heavy menstrual bleeding, um, whatever it is, infertility, all of that to where, so I'm working on my herbs for that, but I'm introducing the Yanni these things where you can come. And again, that's a healing mechanism as well, especially for the womb or stress or anything like that. That's a good time for you to want to, whether you want to journal and have that time again, like I said, having that time to yourself. And what I wanted to do is what I am going to be doing as well is interested in having where you can come like as in groups with your homegirls or whoever, with your homegirls or things like that, where it's karaoke. You come in, you enjoy yourself. It's a karaoke, whatever music you want to do. For certain women, depending on what they're dealing with when it comes to the vaginal yoni steams, having mimosas and or healthy snacks and things like that, just to again come into de-stress and relax. And again, it's a part about healing, because a lot of trauma and things like that is held within the womb, so to be able to clear that out and be able to, again, to de-stress and do all of that, that's another part of my thing I want to add on, because again, that's geared towards the mental health. That's like clearing your, when you because initially when it comes to healing, again, like I said, the mind, body, and the soul, that's all together. So to be able to come do that, and even if you want to come and enjoy yourself, like I said, to have the fun, that's all included. That so having the vaginal yoni steams and where you can be able to have karaoke and things like this to be able to enjoy yourself and kick back. So I am introducing that as well. And a lot of my services will be, because I am home based, but I know how like that could be for certain people. You come into somebody else's home. So what I will be offering is mobile services for whatever whenever you're booking and things like that. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Being that we getting ready to close out, but being that we have heavily talked about mental health, I just want to plug here that next Saturday I will be doing the Break Free Healing Experience, and we will have the mental health awareness morning session. In the afternoon, we will have a session on forgiveness. We will have a session on uh, like mental awareness. We do have a session on fitness because as we understand that a poor mental health affects all of those areas
mhm.
of our life. And so, for those of you that are watching, those of you that will watch the replay, be sure to, if you're not following me, follow me so you can register. Registration does close out on Monday. I am definitely excited about doing this because, again, I just want to see people healed. I want to see people doing better. And what way can we do that is by properly taking care of ourselves mentally. And I mean, it may sound like it's like not a big deal because people don't talk about it. But truth be told, to have poor mental health, everything else is it's like in shambles. If your mind is not in the right place, your spirit is not in the right place, the physical part of you is not in the right place. Even with your digestive system and your immune, like everything is off if your mental health is poor, if it is not properly taken care of.
I can test to
And
that.
so but I mean, I've lived through it my own self. I'm saying, like, I've lived through it. So it is absolutely necessary that we take care of ourselves. We take care of our minds. We meditate. We do self care. All of that stuff. We take breaks. I love it. I love people. But I am not the entrepreneur of book and busy. If you pay attention, I take a lot of vacations throughout the year. I'm not going to book and busy me to death. Like
Yeah.
I'm not her. I'm, you know, no, I will not have a bank account full of money that I can't spend because my mind is not in
Mm-hmm.
the right place. Like I'm just not the girl. So
Because then if you do have the money to spend, you're gonna go spend it and then spend it and you ain't supposed to be spending. You spend it on stuff you ain't gotta be spending. You said should be spending it on. You
listen.
just impulsively buying stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and then truth be told, like if, and this is the conversation for another day, but if you don't take care of yourself, the money that you are making, you gonna be spending it on the wrong stuff to try to help you get through the day. That's where you gonna spend it at on the
Yep.
wrong stuff because you coping. You trying to
Yep.
just get to the next day. So whatever that little temporary high is, that's what you gonna be putting your, and it is the truth. If
Mm-hmm.
people might not want to face it, but it is the God having truth. So again, I bless God that you guys were able to come on tonight. You were a part of in Girl Code. It's just the Lord would give it to me because it's a movement. I want to support women genuinely from my heart. I just want to see other women win. I don't care if we're doing the same thing, we're not doing. I genuinely want to see my sister win. And you guys know that if I see you need my help, you know I'm coming. I'm gonna come. It's like I tell Ebony, it's like a drive by. I'm gonna come get you everything you need, and then I'm gonna go on by my business. Like literally, I'm gonna drop them on you real quick, and I'm gonna go on about um my business. So I genuinely want to see women in business win, see women in ministry. And so this is my way of supporting and loving on women by doing Girl Code. And for those of you that are watching, if you have not purchased the Girl Code magazine, get it. It is some, man, it's some, like, we have some heavy hitters in there. And it's supporting because I am a special need mom. We have dedication to special need moms, and it's just so much stuff in there. Like you will find someone that you possibly need to connect with because
Mm-hmm.
it's like a vast amount of different businesses doing different things. I don't even honestly believe we have women in there doing the same thing. Like, everybody is doing something different. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited because we will have a Girl Code 2023. I will talk about that at a later date. But again, I'm glad y'all came on tonight. And we do need to um, get together, um, like off air, and talk about definitely, Crystal. I want to connect with you and whatever you're doing as it pertains to mental health. If I just let me be in the room, I ain't got to do nothing. I just want to be. Um, I just definitely want to be in a room. So I'm glad you guys have took out your time to come here on a Friday night. And on a Friday night and chat with me. I love you guys. Make sure if you have not put some information in the comments, make sure you put it there so all of we can get all of the everybody will be able to follow you, tag you, links to books and all that. Crystal, I think you got your stuff in there. Ebony, make sure you put everything, every way people can get in contact with you, because you guys have announced some amazing things you are doing, and we want people to stay connected. So I love y'all, and
Thank you.
y'all
Thank
have
you.
a good night.
Bye.
Ooh-wee. All right.